I really do love music. I mean, everything from classical. I like some country. I like rock. So when I put a show together and I'm on stage, my biggest high is watching people enjoy the show that I just produced.
Yes.
From the beginning to the end, which is booking the venue, booking the artists, the marketing, running the show, putting tickets on sale. That's like my hair just stood.
Yeah, it's the orchestration.
The part that sucks is that I've done hundreds of shows, and every show I have the same concerns and the same stress. We've talked, we've laughed about this,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, because it's a lot of risk,
It's Mauricio Mejia live on YouTube.
All right, guys, we are back. It's Mauricio Mejia live here inside of Studio B in the heart of Silicon Valley, downtown San Jose. That's right, the Sofa District. And man, we took some time off just because, again, when we get backed up with a lot of content, right, because we produce a lot of content here, we just we have to take a little break and then let our team catch up. And then once we're ready, we get back to studio days. So we are here and we're back. And what way to start August, the month of August, with a special guest, good friend of mine. We go back, man, probably about 30 years. 30 years, wow. I'm aging myself. I want to welcome my boy, a good friend. We're family, bro. Adrian Goddard. Goddard, I have to keep it politically correct here, Don't want to offend anybody. Anyways, Adrian, thank you for coming down. Man, you took a journey, bro. You took a bus, a ferry,
and buses together.
You even walked. I mean, you did the whole 9 yards to come here today. So thank you for taking the time. We're gonna keep it very. We're gonna be tamed. We put some posts out there sometimes where we've started out in San Jose and ended up in San Francisco. I don't know how, and then back in San Jose, and I just don't know on a school night. So anyhow, today we're gonna keep it tamed, but we're gonna have fun. I want to talk about a lot of things, especially when we go back 30 years, being in the same industry in the nightclub, concert promotions, and the hospitality industry, and how we met, and just that journey and how it started for you, and then we're going to talk about our partnership that we're going to be on the stuff that we're working on as we move now into the future and other great things. So, Adrian, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mauricio.
Finally, bro, you made the list.
It's only been 10 years, but I'm here.
You made the list. I had Tony O here before.
Don't get mad. Yeah, I know that.
Don't get upset, Tony, my boy. We got Adrian here. So
hopefully Billy won't be watching this.
Billy's gonna get upset that I knew you before Adrian. I introduced you to Adrian. I'm gonna be like, no, bro, I met Adrian before I met you, actually. But anyway, so yeah, man, let's dive back. I want people the audience. I know about you. I know who you are. We've had some great stories to share. But for the audience that doesn't know, Adrian, share with the world, man. So born and raised. Let's start with that one. Let me kind of walk you through. Let me hold your hand and let me walk you through this.
First of all, I'm very happy to be here, Mauricio. As you said, we've become very good friends through the years.
Yeah,
and we've worked together. 30 years, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And we're still working together.
Yes.
But let me give you just a quick little, history.
Yeah. When I was a little boy.
When you were a little boy. Actually, yeah, I'm a little bit older than you are. So you're a little boy. Moved to San Francisco in 91.
Okay.
And I came with a scholarship from Venezuela, where I was born and raised.
Okay.
For cooking school.
Okay.
My dad and family always loved to cook. I found a passion, cooking when I didn't do that good in high school. So the last year of high school, I actually worked in a restaurant to keep busy, because my parents were like, hey, you got to study and work.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't do good in, the last year of high school. I had to actually repeat the last year of high school.
Mm-hmm.
So they found that I really was into cooking.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked at this really kind of popular Italian restaurant.
Okay.
And the owner was a French-Canadian guy that owned a couple of restaurants and a hotel. And he actually helped
in Venezuela.
Oh,
nice. Okay.
Jean-Paul Coupal, this French guy. And he actually was one of the guys that started the slow food movement in South America, which then became a huge thing here in the U.S.
Slow food.
Slow food.
What does that mean?
Which is actually was
never heard. I heard of fast food, but not slow food.
Well, it's actually the beginning of from farm to table, just using really good products and, cooking with your heart and cooking with just really, really good, everything, from your vegetables to your meats and just healthy eating, basically.
Very cool. Okay.
So he helped me get a scholarship, and it was actually, I was one of the first people to receive a scholarship to study the culinary arts outside of Venezuela in the U.S.
Got it.
And I went to CCA, which was in San Francisco.
Okay.
And then, I worked at different restaurants. I worked at the Ritz-Carlton for a year, and I started then, I was working in the kitchen, and then I went from the kitchen to the front of the house to try the different parts and how the restaurant works. And I was really enjoying the social part of being in the front of the house, and the kitchen, you're cooking,
you're grinding in the kitchen,
you're sweating. It's not as much fun as these days. All the food networks make it seem. Back then, it was like, and you're making $8 an hour back then, just working your butt off.
Yeah.
So being in the front of the house, I was able to meet people and just socialize. And in a couple of the spots that I was working at, one of them was called Sol y Luna.
Okay, I remember Sol y Luna.
And my good friend Giovanni, the Margarita King, he started a Wednesday night party there. Yeah. And I actually started helping him produce that Wednesday night event. And it became, just packed on Wednesdays. There's, a very international crowd. Just a lot of fun.
Latin music or international music?
It was actually, we had a band called the Sol y Luna Band.
Okay.
That played almost like Spanish flamenco, but that you could dance to.
Yeah.
And then DJ Antonio would play outside, salsa, merengue, cumbia.
Nice.
And actually, it was my first introduction to to that kind of
that was a beautiful space. Is that building still around?
No, so it's in the financial district.
Yeah.
It was on Sacramento and Sansom, and
I remember.
now it's like I think a Thai restaurant.
Okay.
But the outdoor patio is closed to it's not the same as before.
Yeah.
And it
beautiful. Sol y Luna was the bomb. Yeah.
It was great. So the other part is that I was also making in one night what I was making in 2 weeks in the kitchen. And I'm like, I actually like this. I'm actually meeting some girls, having fun. I was 22 at the time.
Okay.
So I was young. As a young guy in the city.
Yeah.
Then moving forward, I got a job at the Caribbean Zone.
Yeah.
Which was right behind DV8.
Yes.
And it was owned by Dr. Winky, who owned the legendary,
DV8. Yeah.
And he was
now it's Temple
now it's Temple.
Right.
Now it's
and that's going to close eventually. That's supposed
they've been closing for about 4 years now. But Temple's doing great. Temple's a beautiful club. Paul is a good friend of ours.
Yeah.
Back then it was DV8, and Dr. Winky was like the
people that don't know the Caribbean Zone. It was actually a plane. It was a Doobie Brothers plane.
Good, yeah.
Yeah,
good
come
memory.
on, bro.
I'm surprised.
Come on, bro. Come on. I knew where all the secret spots were.
So he actually bought a plane from the Doobie Brothers, an all plane, and then it was a parking lot. He built the restaurant. This guy was very ahead of his time.
Yeah.
He built a restaurant around
with the name of Dr. Winky, bro.
Dr. Winky. Well,
actually, who he invented, right? We're going to talk the little blinking, the technology on the blinking pins, and that's how he made his fortune.
That is true.
Yeah.
And Winky was like the Steve Rubell of the West Coast. Like when DV8 opened here, it was like the Studio 54 of the West. They used to call it DV8. Because every celebrity used to go there. I mean, he had the very famous artist from the 80s, kind of graffiti artist. I'm blanking out. It'll come back to me. But he had him do a huge wall. And then he just had 4 different levels. It was
remember
the first mega nightclub, if you want to call it, in San Francisco. And then the Caribbean
that thing was a monster, bro.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it was huge, man. I mean, you'd get like 2,000 people in there.
Oh yeah,
between all the floors and packed. I mean, it was bananas.
It was it was the biggest club at the time.
Yeah,
and the Caribbean Zone was right behind it.
That's right. Yeah.
So then the Caribbean Zone had waterfalls and had all these different like glasses you could take home, like.
The Bahama Mama was the Bahama Mama.
Very, kind of like a Hawaiian meets, it's
a Caribbean. Yeah, there was the whole Caribbean vibe. So I remember when you get into the plane, the little screens were showing the TV like you're flying, and you're drinking these Caribbeans, and they're playing reggae inside of the plane. And then I remember when they started doing the salsa music outside. Right, that's crazy, man. Yeah.
So then we started doing a Latin night. They're called Mosquito Club.
Okay.
My friend came up with the name actually. And while we were doing that, DV8 was going to start a new hip hop party with Cameo.
Oh, boy.
Actually, I should say more like top 40 because it was back there was it was just a mix of everything. Top 40 in hip hop with Cameo, which was actually the main station before Wild became like the main top 40 station.
Yep.
And they saw that I was doing the salsa night, and they said, why don't we just keep the salsa night and incorporate to the party that we're going to do at DV8 because the Caribbean song connected with DV8.
Right, but it also had its own entrance.
It also has its own entrance.
Yeah.
But then they launched this party, and actually I think it was probably one of the first weekly parties that had the combination of salsa and hip hop.
Okay.
I mean, I that's what I've been told.
Yeah.
Because you could go to both. You could go into like a Latin room and dance salsa and cumbia, merengue, and all that fun stuff. And then you could go into the main room at DV8 and dance to all of the, the hits at the moment.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the first actually, big clubs to do both of those together, at least in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
So that was
DV8 was a fun place for me, and Caribbean Zone was definitely fun. That's where I met Dennis Gallegos. He was DJing there, and I remember that was the first place that we met. And then at that time too, I don't know if you had already started the 330 Rich parties. It was Tu Pueblo or Mi Pueblo before it became Tu Pueblo.
Well,
right?
I'll tell you. So moving forward after the Caribbean Zone came actually.
So you're done with the kitchen, bro? Because we're not even talking about the kitchen. Once you started making more money, you're like, I'm done with the kitchen work, man.
Well, it was also, like I said, the part of socializing. I like meeting different kinds of people. I like talking to people. Like it's a lot more interesting than I love cooking, but that's my passion.
You're seeing nobody. You're seeing nobody in the back.
I'm seeing a knife and onions. That's it for 6 hours straight. So then, moving forward after that, Dave Dean.
I remember Dave Dean
used to own the Sound Factory.
That's right, original Sound Factory.
And the Sound Factory was mostly house music.
Yeah.
And Dave Dean owned it. Now we're going towards the mid '90s.
Yeah, mid '90s. Yeah,
and towards the end of the Sound Factory days, Dave Dean asked if I could do a Latin room it was in the back room of the club. It was like could fit about 800 people. The Sound Factory was a big space.
That was a big club.
So
2,500 people.
2,500 people. So I started promoting a Latin night in half of the club, and our good friend Billy Vidal came to the event, and then he talked to Britt Hahn and said, "Hey, Britt, this guy's doing a Latin room already there. I think we should keep it." This is when Britt was talking to Dave Dean about buying the Sound Factory.
At that time, so now we haven't even. I don't think we've met yet at that point. Because I was working at City Nights. I had just moved up from LA, 1994. Within the first 6 months, I started promoting at City Nights. And then in 1995, 96, 97, I was Billy, when he was working with Britt, he brought me on board when we had finished doing the Funhouse. When we were doing the Funhouse in San Jose, when we kicked off the Funhouse. And when that ended, he ended up going to San Francisco, and he then brought me on board to do City Nights, Saturday night. Oof, man, that thing was bananas because we were bringing all the South Bay all the people there from the South Bay. We blew up their numbers. I mean, the best numbers that City Nights ever had were those Saturdays that we were working.
And you were a big part of bringing all of this.
That's right.
The South Bay.
Yeah,
the youngsters from the South Bay.
I was the promoters making. I don't even want to tell you how much I was making.
I'm gonna have a tear in my.
But shout out to Britt Hahn for.
Shout out to Britt Hahn. Well, Britt Hahn. I mean, let's give props where needed. Britt Hahn was another guy that was like. I mean, he had
ahead of his time.
He had a plan,
Yeah.
I mean, his thing was so Britt owned City Nights, which was 18 over, and he said, well, by the time they're 21, 22, City Nights is kind of young for them. I gotta get a club where I can maximize the crowd and still make money from them from 21 to 35.
35, yeah.
And he saw the Sound Factory, which was 2 blocks up the street on Harrison.
Yep.
And then he bought it from Dave Dean.
Yep.
And that's where
all of us started. I think that's when we all started to connect, because while all of that is happening, you had your party. I'm telling you, we're skipping this one because that's where I met Julio Bravo. I met there was another one. There was one of my favorite salseros. Avance. I had met them there.
Caña Roja, Tito.
Tito, yeah, no,
Tito Rojas.
Tito Rojas, bro.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, hey, he was
great.
Bad, bro. He was one of my favorite bands to watch, and at the time, oh man, I was loving going to all the parties. And then the concerts that were coming out. That era, man, that time in my life was so off the hook in the Bay Area. The Bay Area was just humming. I mean, it's coming back now to it's got a different vibe, obviously, but I remember that's where I met Oscar, Tony O's brother.
Yeah, right.
When they were doing the concerts at the
Concourse Center.
The Concourse Center. That's where I saw the first Oscar de Leon concert. I saw the Jerry Rivera concert. What other concerts?
Actually, and I had the pleasure to work the show was Celia Cruz.
Okay.
Celia Cruz, and it was Celia Cruz, and I want to say Chicas del Can, and then we did another one with La India, and actually Elvis Crespo when he just started. Mm-hmm. And these concerts, we're talking about 8,000 people.
Yeah.
Dancing to salsa, which unfortunately, at least in the Bay Area, it's been a while since.
Yeah, there's.
Those days.
Those days are done.
And those are all around the same time. Around in the 90s.
Yeah.
That all. But I think Tu Pueblo started around the same time as this whole Sound Factory thing came in, and it started as Mi Pueblo. But the problem was back then there was no internet. Mm-hmm. Okay, there was a phone number you could call, and you had an 1800 number, 800 number you could leave, or a voicemail. And there was a chain of restaurants called Mi Pueblo. So the owner of Mi Pueblo calls me pretty mad, pissed off. Can I say bad words here?
Yeah, bro. We're not regulated here. It's our show.
And he's like, hey, man, you got to change your name. I'm getting like 50 calls on Saturday night asking for directions and asking who's playing. So I changed the name from Mi Pueblo to Tu Pueblo. And that's the reason why I had to change. So then Tu Pueblo lasted for about 4 years. And actually, it was a small little spot.
Yeah.
Small little spot that actually these 4 guys that went to Berkeley opened together.
Yeah.
It was great. Actually, sorry, it was Kirk and a couple of other guys opened, and they had before that they had Mr. Fives.
Okay.
Mr. Fives was a hip hop and reggae club in the early 90s.
Got it.
And that was Michael O'Connor that owns the New Parish, owns the Bill of the Independent.
Wow.
And then Kirk Harper, and then Jerry and this other guy Eric. So they all these Berkeley guys, and then they opened 330 Rich.
Yeah.
And we started Saturday nights in Tu Pueblo.
Yeah.
And we broke a lot of bands that were just starting, and it was about 250 person cap, and it was great, man.
It was a great vibe. That to me was the where salsa was really exposed. Coming from LA, I was always used to clubs with 3 rooms. There was the main dance room, there was a hip hop room, and then there was the Latin salsa room, or cumbias, or just whatever, all Latin tropical stuff. So I was always accustomed to that. And when I came to the Bay Area, there was never really that until I started seeing, like you said, you're right, the Caribbean zone in the front, and then hip hop in the other room, and then the next time that I saw that format was when Sound Factory happened.
Yeah.
And that's when I think that things really blew up for everybody, man. It once that Sound Factory deal happened with Britt, Billy was a big part of that deal too, in coordinating all that, and I think that's really where the nightlife just really took off.
Well, also radio was king back then.
Yeah.
Like the Doghouse.
Yeah.
They were big.
Wild 107 at the time. Yeah, before they went 94.9.
They were a big part of the Sound Factory's success.
Yes.
Their listening audience was huge.
Yeah.
And there was nothing.
And there was no internet. There was no social media. There was internet, but no social media.
Yeah, there was no social media, and there was no club. At least in San Francisco, San Jose had some, similar clubs, but nothing at that size.
No.
2,500 person venue on a Saturday night.
No.
And you're right. The salsa.
Studio 47 Tropicana had the capacity of maybe 1,500 people, and that was packing it. But 1,000 people was the capacity there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but 1,500 people, but there was no mega nightclubs in the South Bay. So yeah, no, that definitely up there was.
And that was, if those walls could talk, Mauricio. Can we please cut right now? I just got some memories coming to me. I don't know if I should cry, scream, or laugh. A lot of confusing thoughts are coming through my mind.
All I gotta say is that that time was a time of my life. I had just moved up from LA. I had been doing clubs in LA. I started doing the clubs out here. The craziest part is that I wasn't even of age and I was doing clubs up here. Like I was 18, 19 years old doing 21 and over
young,
clubs.
huh?
I started, 15 years old I started. I mean, I share the story with everybody. But I've been in the club scene since I was a kid. So I fell in love with the lifestyle, everything that came with it. It was just, I was all in. But yeah, man, we lived it, we experienced it, we pioneered. You know, when I look at today, where a lot of the people that are at, from the groups, the music, the DJs, the promoters, the people, you know, I mean, we're older now. It's not like we can tell them, hey, you know, we're the ones that paved the way for you. But when I see where it's gone, I'm like, wow, it's really has changed, and in many ways too, right? Social media now, like, has really made an impact on it. But again, going back to the times where these places were just being packed before social media, I mean, it was hand-to-hand combat. It was passing out flyers. I mean, 10,000 flyers, that was like normal. You know, if you really wanted to get the word out, you had to go to all the malls. You had to go hit up parking lots.
You have to hit other clubs.
You have to hit.
I got a couple scuffles myself.
You got to go. You got to go to competitors' nightclubs. I mean, it got to the point where I don't know if you remember when I made the big billboard and I just drove my billboard. And
trust me, we will never forget that. You're an expert at hitting our parking lots. We're like security like, Mauricio's passing out flyers again in the parking lot, and me and Billy has to come in. Mauricio, come on. It's like the door's right there. You're like, oh, sorry, what? You want a flyer to my party in San Jose? What?
I'm sorry. That billboard that's driving right by. I'm sorry. Just don't pay attention to that billboard.
It's a competitive club. Just don't even look at it, please.
Hey, that's how we had to compete.
Yeah.
It was just the way it was. I mean, oh God. And now that I think about that, it just takes me back to those days. Anyways, anyway,
something else that I don't think people understand, or people in the business, especially with promoting clubs.
Yeah.
Back then, I would have to spend, when I did my mail outs, which was basically, you know, having a postcard.
I hated doing the mailers.
It would take me 3 days. If I didn't get a crew of 5, because I had to stuff the envelope.
Yeah.
Then I had to put a label on the envelope. I had to put a stamp. Then I had to close the envelope, and I had to take it to like a special spot at the post office where you could mail like 3,000, letters at the same time.
Yeah.
And it was just, I mean,
even doing that, eventually I got to the point where I started doing postcards, and I started getting the prepaid the stamp.
That's right.
On it, because I was like, I don't want to.
When that came out, I was
lick
like,
or
thank you.
stick or envelopes. I was like, no, just send out the postcard. Just boom. And again, there's a lot of things that we've done that obviously has disappeared because of social media, but those were the details that I think it was really cool. Like, we used to collect. I had this scanner that was. I think it was illegal, but we were still using it. Where it captured the ID readers, right?
Address.
Yeah. So what we would do is they were used to check their age, to verify their age, but it was capturing the barcode, and it was capturing their address. Right. So at the end of the weekend, I would download all the database, and that's how we were collecting databases. I mean, on top of that, having the girl that would or the host with the clipboards getting emails by hand. Yeah. There was no iPads back then. There was no QR codes.
Yeah, it was a lot more work. But it's just times change. Same like you mentioned, social media, and social media has definitely had an impact on large nightclubs.
Yeah.
I mean, at least in cities that are not like.
I even heard the strip clubs. I don't know. I heard. OnlyFans, baby. That, like, why go to a strip club when you can go watch it on OnlyFans?
There's YouPorn and there's chat rooms. I mean, there's a lot out there that I'm sure strip clubs also have felt.
Everyone is feeling it. And I think that even now, we talk. We'll get into that one, but I predicted this. Right when bottle service became a big thing, I was like, and I started seeing the prices of the bottles going up and the prices of the DJs going up, and then clubs that started doing where they became entertainment focused and not consistent. I mean, they had to be consistent with entertainment because, like the big clubs, like Ruby Sky, for example,
Right.
Sound Fact. I mean, it got to the point where the clubs started competing against each other that they started getting more creative, and it was who brought the best 10-15 Folsom at the time when release was still going on.
Of course.
I mean, you know, those guys paved the way and pioneered a lot of stuff for the people that are doing stuff now. And just to think of how the competitiveness and how people just the clubs started going, you know, not only the radio stations with the radio wars, right? But then the clubs started to try to figure out how to get competitive. And then all the things things just started getting priced out to the point where once Vegas picked that up, man, the only club that used to be in Vegas was it was a club that was not even on the Strip. It was a standalone nightclub. I forget the name of the club, man. But anyway, I remember that. I mean, and then all of a sudden the nightclub started picking up in Las Vegas. The Voodoo Lounge became
the Ghost Bar, which
Ghost
was
Bar,
upstairs at the Palms.
At the Palms, yeah.
And then
the Playboy Club,
Club.
inside the Palm. I mean, there was just again those clubs started to really pop off, and then it really just broke out. I mean, the big talent and the big money and
these days,
$5,000, $10,000, $100,000 tables. You're like, what? People spent that kind of money? I mean, yeah, they did. You know, people went broke on that shit. So, and now we're seeing the effects. We're like, they were just saying that partying, people going out is down actually because it's everything is just so overpriced. And the generation, the Z generation, Gen Z,
it's not their thing.
It's not their thing.
It's not their thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. But I think a lot of the cities that still survive with big clubs are the cities that have a lot of tourists and a younger demographic.
Yeah.
You know,
Miami,
Las Vegas,
yeah,
Miami, even like Phoenix. There's some other cities that have a younger LA a little bit, but San Francisco's really never been about. People don't come here thinking I'm gonna go to San Francisco and go to the best nightclub of the fucking. No. I'm gonna go ahead and go to Alcatraz. I'm gonna go to Napa. I'm gonna try some food. I'm gonna
go to the Golden Gate Bridge.
I'm gonna go to the bridge. You know, it's a different mentality. And when it comes to the tourists, the young tourists, I'm going there for my honeymoon to just, bachelor party. How many bachelor guys go? Let's go to San Francisco and rage. Like, no, they're not coming here. They're not coming here. But it's so. I think that has been part of. Where it's been challenging. It's been challenging even since back then when we were doing the big clubs, because it was all mostly local people that used to come out to the clubs. Yeah. And like you said, now this young generation that lives here, they're not really into the clubs. They'll spend $200 a person in a restaurant in San Francisco. Yeah. But they won't pay a $20 cover for a nightclub. Yeah. They
won't pay. Yeah, but they'll sit at a table and they'll buy drinks.
They'll buy drinks,
or they'll buy a bottle or a cheap bottle or something. Yeah.
They'll spend $500 for two. Or they'll spend $500 for a festival. That's the thing, that there's so many festivals now that people can they can only their money can only go so far. Right. You have a festival every month around the mega festivals every single month.
San Francisco's got the Outside Lands,
which is this upcoming weekend.
Yeah, San Jose's got the San Jose Jazz Festival. Yeah. There's up in Napa you got all the
Bottle Rock,
La
Onda, which started last year.
Those are big festivals that also suck the population. That income people save up. I mean, those promoters have gotten even smart to the point where you can buy tickets on layaway. You can start paying them for next year. You can start paying them now, $30 a month or whatever until you get to the price. I mean, it just.
I went to the dentist actually yesterday. True story. I went to the dentist, and when they told me how much it was going to cost, but I don't have dental insurance, I go, "Do you have a payment plan? Put me on it." Because I swear I cried like for 5 minutes. Everybody these days has a, like you're right. The festivals have a payment. Smart. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it just those festivals, they cost so much. You're talking 30, 40, $50 million, up to $100 million just to do a festival, but they're grossing, $200 million, $300 million just because of all the different experiences. But man, those are big risks. And going back to like when we were doing it, I mean, yeah, we wanted to own multiple nightclubs or multiple restaurants, multiple bars. We weren't thinking like that yet, but again, that's what creates the person right behind us, right? Is thinking like, I want to do that, but better. All right. Boom, festivals. And they started cutting deals. I mean, I remember when Pascual, Insomniac, he was out there passing out flyers with all of us and hitting all this, like with his street team and all that. And then now, Insomniac is one of the largest festival promoters in the world.
Well, I think EDC is the largest electronic festival.
It is.
That in Tomorrowland. I don't know who has the most amount of, biggest. I
mean, they're doing things around the world now. Yeah. EDC Mexico, EDC. I think they're doing one in South America or even
Brazil or
somewhere down there. So I mean, it's and these things are selling out. Yeah. It's bananas, man. What do you think is the thing that keeps us? Or kept us going? Because, I'll be honest, man. I did it for 25 years. It's still in my blood. But like I shared with you, there's moments where I'm just like, I don't feel it anymore. I don't, I did it for so long and I had so much fun with it. And I've had so many great parties and just great memories. But for me, it just got to a point where I think I changed directions and just focused on other things, and not that I didn't do it when I was younger, but I always wanted to not only be the promoter, but I wanted to be the businessman. I wanted to own real estate, and I learned that from Britt, actually, and a few others that taught me that not only do the promotions, use that money, but diversify it into real estate or other projects. But what do you think it is that just keeps us going, aside from the seeing happy faces? I guess I don't know. Well, what keeps you going?
Well, everybody's different, Everybody has different goals in life, and obviously, the older we get, we have to change our focus and our energy. If we have a family, if we have kids, so we're not in the 20s where we can just do whatever we feel like doing. We have other responsibilities. From the nightclubs, I went to producing more live concerts. That's what I got into. Because of that reason, that was one of the reasons. Like, a show, you put up the concert, doors open at 8, the show is done at 11. I mean, and you can.
We're just getting the wheels warmed up at 11 o'clock, baby.
but back then, we were going till 4 a.m, which now just physically it's just very challenging. Oh. I mean, we have a lot of energy considering our age, but it's just times change.
I can't do that.
And I really do love music. I mean, everything from classical. I like some country. I like rock. So when I put a show together and I'm on stage, my biggest high is watching people enjoy the show that I just produced.
Yes.
From the beginning to the end, which is booking the venue, booking the artists, the marketing, running the show, putting tickets on sale. That's like, look, my hair just stood.
Yeah, it's the orchestration.
That is my, I think that's one of the reasons that keeps me doing this. Yeah. It's like, and the part that sucks is that I've done hundreds of shows, and every show I have the same concerns and the same stress. We've laughed about this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, because it's a lot of risk.
Yeah.
Like, what if my break even is 500 people and I get the 3 days before I have only 250 tickets sold.
Yeah.
And the Latin market, as we all know, is always last minute.
Yeah.
For buying tickets most of the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes we've sold half of the tickets 2 days before the show.
Yeah.
So that's that part is always stressful, but
trust me, I don't miss those days. I was standing at the door and I'm like, how many people do we have? Like, and I would ask the same question 10 times, like, and then I'd look at my watch and I'm like,
it's been 15 minutes.
It's been 15 minutes. Oh, it's been 5 minutes. I'm like, they're coming. And then when they start showing up, I'm like, I told you they were coming. I was like, I wasn't worried. I knew they were gonna come. I was like, fuck, let me go have another shot. Oh man, those nights. Well, I think the concern though is because I've been there. I'm sure you've been there, where there's shows that we've made a lot of money, and there's shows where you fucking flop, and you're like, whoa.
Right.
I mean, I've recently last year when I did I tried to bring the Detox Sundays pool party back. That was the most successful pool party in the South Bay. 1,500 plus people. I mean, I'd walk out of there printing money. And last year, I was using the same method that I was doing. I had 250 pre-sales. I was like, all right, we're good on the pre-sales. We're good. We'll just get the rest at the door. And I needed my break even was 400 people.
And the door just
and the door did 10 people.
Wow.
And I remember that day, I was like, because all the tickets showed up, and I was like, we had nobody that showed up and paid at the door. They're like, nobody has showed up and paid at the door.
Every 20 minutes.
Anybody paid? Like, I'm watching the door, and I'm not even having a good time. And I remember I was like, so even that has changed. And if you don't adapt to the times, your marketing and your promotions, you lose that edge, and you become irrelevant in that scene. Like, I think about it now. Yeah, people do know me still from the scene, but the last time I did a real nightclub, man, it's 2009, 2010, 15 years ago. Right. But I did a few parties along the way, to still keep. I'll do the holiday parties like the New Year's, the Halloweens, and all that. But I just didn't want to do the weeklies anymore, and I did want to pivot into festivals and. It's a lot of work. Now you're talking about $150,000, $200,000, risks,
right?
And that's not festivals. This is just like a day party kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, and don't get me wrong. Every business has risk.
Absolutely,
okay? All of them.
Yeah,
everybody has risk when they open a business or run their own business. The beauty about the club part was that every week you had an income that was coming in, consistently. When you do one show here, one show in there, it's like the real estate agent that doesn't sell a house for 6 months.
That's right.
And is waiting on that commission and
to catch up.
To catch up.
Yeah.
If you have a show that does bad or you break even and you're counting on that money, sometimes you reinvest it on the show or that money just to, pay bills or whatever the reason might be, it can be very stressful,
Yeah.
And I think that's why you have to be very careful, like you said, of how you use your cash flow when it comes to producing shows.
Yep.
Do some smaller shows where your break even is not that high. Maybe do a weekly, even if it has live music component, you can do a weekly salsa event or weekly rock and español, and then once in a while you throw those big shows where you're going to have a larger risk. And I think that's where we've gone more and more into, and I think that's where our renewed partnership has been focusing towards.
Yeah, I want to do big numbers. I don't want to, the small things. And again, that's just part of growth, right? As we grow, we want to do bigger things. We want to make sure that our time invested returns with a bigger reward, right? Because we're not young like we were back then, and the amounts that we were making for somebody else was. It's like a lot from us. I mean, it was like normal because it was a niche market that we were in. So making a couple $1,000s a week was like nothing. It gave us a lifestyle. We didn't have to, we were weekend warriors, man. It was fun. Right. But that lasts, if you don't diversify that, if you don't grow that, then it can get old very quick. So that's why for me, I wanted it, anything that I get involved in now, I want to make sure that there's big numbers or big returns or something that's going to be memorable. The nightclub on a regular basis, that's every week, right? It's consistent. Right. But these special shows, I think that that's where it's at. I mean, I've done a couple of things. In 2022, I was doing Music in the Park. Did a season, one season. Mm-hmm. Then last 2 years, I did the block parties here in downtown San Jose, and that was fun. And then I really wanted to hit into the big DJs. But just we couldn't get the timing or the funding or really the connections, man, because that's the other part, right? If you're in the industry and you've been in the industry, you build relationships. Mm-hmm. And that's what's made you successful is the fact that you have these great relationships with these talent agencies because they don't just work with anybody. That's the other thing. And I could tell them, oh, yeah, I used to own this and I used to do that. They're like, yeah, you used to. And I was like, yeah, motherfuckers, I'm the one that paved the way for these. And like, I get offended when that, but I also understand that, hey, I'm not in the scene anymore. So yeah, I don't necessally, can't demand that special treatment. But at the same time, it's interesting to see how the industry has changed. I mean, maybe we were controlling it back then because I remember we would block out promoters or tell the agents, "Hey, you can't do business with them because we're the ones bringing all the talent."
Now there's a lot more when it comes to live concerts. There's a lot more promoters.
Yeah,
on a national level. Back then, like you said, maybe there was 3 or 4. Now there's 10 groups that are doing national tours that I have to compete against.
Wow.
So you just said something very important. My strength is relationships with the artists and with the agents, because if a bigger promoter like Live Nation, Another Planet, AAG comes and offers Mauricio a tour with 12 cities, and I can only offer you maybe Bay Area, LA, and San Diego, it's a business for the artist and for the agent. They're going to go with that bigger tour.
Right.
But if it's a 1 or 2 shows and the artist actually enjoys the way I treat them, the way I produce my shows,
right,
when they sit down and see the different offers, they're like, you know what? We like working with Jaffe Events or with Adrian. Let's go with him.
Yeah. And
that's where I have to be very, very careful and kind of make sure that I always do that with the agents or the artists, because I'm a small promoter, in a big, in a big ocean with a lot of,
sharks,
and these guys have a lot more money.
You're a little shark.
I'm a little shark, I'm a baby shark, and these guys are whales. I'm a little baby, I'm a little sardine, and they're sharks. But, they have a lot more money. They have a lot more venues, that a lot of times I just can't compete with, but.
Well, and I think that's what got me interested in working with you again, is saying, you know what, I don't want that with the amount of talent, relationships you have, if we could put some firepower behind you, money, I think that we can do some great things. And I think that the other part is that we just we're very patient, right? We're gonna do things slowly but surely, right? Like we're promoting. We got a couple of events that we're working on now that we're promoting. What's our first show that we're doing?
Well, not this weekend, but the 16th.
Okay.
We have a son and mother, they sing together. They're from Peru.
Okay.
Tony and Mimi Zucker.
Okay.
And they just won Best Tropical Album Grammy recently. And it's the first time they come to the Bay Area.
Nice.
They come with a 10-piece salsa band, and it's going to be at the UC Theater in Berkeley.
Hey, Bryce, you're wearing the shirt. We gotta get paid for that.
I had to plug it in.
No logos here, bro.
I was waiting for you to notice.
No, I saw that.
Smitty, David, I want a bigger cup. Okay, next time.
Exactly. I better get free drinks the next time I'm there. But
I got some drink tickets. Don't worry, for beer and well. But that's a beautiful.
And VIP in the back.
You got that. But you've been to that venue.
Oh, I love that venue.
You saw Willie Colon there.
Yes,
We had Grupo Nietzsche. We've had Juanes there. We've had a lot of really, really amazing bands perform there.
Yes.
So I'm really looking forward to that show.
Yeah. Nietzsche played there.
Nietzsche played there. It's a beautiful, it's a historic building. They do a great job when it comes to production.
Yeah.
The artists love the venue. We just treat them right.
Yeah.
So that's coming up in a week and a half.
Yeah, that's I'm excited for that. That's going to be a fun show.
And then we are working on hopefully on some amazing shows for next year,
2026,
around the World Cup.
Yeah, World Cup is coming. We got Super Bowl coming to the South Bay, and that's going to be fun. We're going to make those things happen. It's just timing, but. Yeah, I mean, we got to start somewhere, so let's get ready, man. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, same here.
Going back to like what's kept you in the game. I mean, you got kind of late in the game, but you have a son now. I'm going to say you're almost married here, bro.
By 9:30.
By the way,
I'm out.
I love your future wife or your other partner. I'll never forget the day we're out on the boat in the bay, bro. True story, guys. We're out in the bay, and you're gonna have to tell them we talked about this. We're out in the bay, and we catch someone left the one of the lines outside of the boat, and it got caught up in the motor.
We're in San Francisco.
We're in San Francisco.
Lamar.
Yeah,
Lamar.
We're out there, and we decided we wanted to take off, and we were gonna go to Angel Island or go to Tiburon or somewhere. And all of a sudden, as I'm jamming out, the boat starts to like put, and I was like, what the hell? We couldn't figure it out, and then I look at the back, and I saw one of the lines had got snipped.
Right.
So I was like, "Shit!"
It's caught in the.
It got caught. It got cut off. I can see it, but it's now caught up in the rudder down, in the propeller down underneath, and that water's cold. And I don't have
cold and it's brown and black. I mean, it's not like a crystal Hawaii ocean where you can see through and it's green.
I'm like, how are we gonna get down there? And your girl, I had a knife, right?
She grabbed
your girl grabs your knife, she puts it in her mouth like a savage,
and dives
in the fucking down underneath, and comes like stays down there, and we're like, is she coming up? Like, bro, like I started getting worried, like, what the hell? Next thing you know, she comes back up and she's got rope in her hand with the knife in her mouth. I was like, bro, she's a keeper.
Yeah, she's a keeper. Well, I have a 2.5-year-old son with her now.
Your son, bro. I mean, that had to have changed a lot of things because we know nightlife demands, but when it comes to family, man,
you know what? It's and I'll be honest, I'm 53. I had him at 51.
Damn, bro.
I know I look better. Thank you, Mauricio. And I can feel it. I mean,
you pull off the silver fox, bro.
I put lots of gel on there for the interview. But it's
I did tell you better cut your hair and shave and come in clean.
But it's a blessing. You know, I've never experienced love for a human like I have for my son. And until people don't have kids, I don't think they can really understand. And I'm a mama's boy, but even I hope my mom never sees this. Yeah. But you know, the love, it's not more. It's just a different kind of love.
Yeah,
that
100%.
when you look at your kids in the eyes, you just feel this connection. That, like I said, if you don't have your own kids, it's tough to explain. You know, and it's been challenging because, you know, like you said, I'm not in my 20s anymore. It's, you know, I'm 53 and, you know, your body doesn't have the same energy. And, you know, I have a boy and he's like,
well, he's
a boy nonstop from 6 a.m. till 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
There's no nap in between.
Yeah.
And there's no like turn off and turn on switch.
Like turn it down. Like you turn it down, he turns it up. You're like, no, I mean, turn it down.
So it's been, you know, it's been a great challenge. You know, he's going to start a full day preschool at the end of August, so that's going to free a lot of time during the day for myself. So, but it's amazing. You know, I love my family and they're great.
What do you think has been the biggest challenge in your career with the entertainment, you know, that you've been focused on? I mean, because it's a niche market. What do you think the biggest challenge has been for that? Because you're niche. I mean, I knew that I had the flexibility of going top 40, hip hop, you know, I can do different genres, but when you're focused on one niche, I mean, yeah, you throw some flavor. I know you've done, you know, variations, but what do you think the challenges have been?
Well, the biggest challenge recently was obviously COVID.
Yeah.
You know, COVID on March 15th.
It's a Saturday.
It was a Saturday or Wednesday?
No, so I'll tell you the dates.
Yeah.
Friday, March 13th,
right.
the governor announces that they're going to do shelter in place in California.
Right.
Santa Clara County on Monday, the 16th, is the first county in the entire world
that shuts down.
Yes,
right.
Santa Clara County is the first county
in the
world that does shelter in place, and then every other county started, and then it just started rolling. I mean, I'll never forget that day because that was the time when I was working on Latin Live with Eric.
That's right, of course.
And we were supposed to go public that year. Our paperwork had already been done. We were thinking of how big of a yacht we were going to be buying just being a part of the Billionaires Club because they were projecting that our company would be $1 billion unicorn from Silicon Valley, Latino owned. I mean, it was exciting times.
It was something that nobody had really done before.
No.
Right? I mean, Latin, yeah.
No, Latin Life, both of them, we had figured the algorithm at the time, right? So we don't know how, maybe with that money, we would have been able to then continue to figure it out. Yeah. Because we figured out the algorithm so that we can target the Latino market. And we were so tapped into Facebook that's how we were, because Facebook that's when it was becoming a beast. Yeah. So we had figured it out, and we were selling tickets. Every big boy was coming to Live Nation, AEG.
You guys were also helping me out with a lot of marketing, and it was doing great. Yeah, so COVID, you know, obviously entertainment is people getting together, hospitality, you know. So our business, I canceled 47 shows in 3 days. I remember that. I canceled the entire year because, and then And then it wasn't just that year. If you only remember, they were saying they're going to reopen, and then they never reopened. And then it was like almost another year until we could really open again. So that's been one of the biggest challenges in my life for my line of work, has been COVID.
Yeah.
There's always political problems that happen in the country that always can hurt your ticket sales. Things go up and down depending who's elected, depending, especially in this country because it's so divided these days. It has been very divided for the past 8-10 years.
Yeah. Crazy.
That's been a challenge. And then the competition. There's like we just talked about. There's a lot of other big sharks out there that are buying tours and offering a lot more money. So a lot of the artists I used to work with maybe 10, 15 years ago, now they're getting bought by a larger promoter to do a tour, and I just can't compete with that.
Yeah. I remember I mentioned to you that we saw I saw the promotion for Hombres G and Enanitos Verdes.
At the SAP Center.
At the SAP Center. I was like, those bands, I could have never seen them at an arena. They were always medium type bands, medium venues. But to see them there, I don't even know how the show did.
I heard it did pretty well, actually.
Did it?
Yeah, considering the size of the SAP Center, it did pretty well.
20,000 people.
Yeah.
So good for them.
Yeah. Right now things are so expensive. Airlines, hotel rooms, staff. So what happens is that a lot of these bands have to charge a lot more money than they charged pre-COVID. The problem is that I can charge for my market a little bit more per ticket, but I can't charge the same that they're charging me if you put, apples and apples together.
Yeah.
And that's been a challenge. Like I can't charge for a show, some of the shows $100, but that's how much I need to charge to really be able to make a profit. So that's been a challenge, recently in entertainment business, at least for us.
I think it's figuring out, because I've always done it where, obviously we get all of our expenses and then we work it backwards. What's our break even? How many people? Then what's our price point for our tickets? And then we kind of that's how we move that ticket price point. But it's been tough now because you're right. It's costing a lot more money to get these guys to, or these groups to come out and travel because, and not only that, but damn, with the way the world is right now, getting a visa or coming into the U.S. has been tough for these big Latin shows.
And you heard what happened with La Onda. They had one of the headliners was going to be Grupo Firme.
Oh yeah,
and actually they canceled the day before because of I think they were already in the U.S. and actually they had to leave because one of the guys there was an issue with his visa, so they couldn't make it to Napa. And that's one of the headliners of a 60,000 person festival.
Yeah.
And their attendance was a lot slower than it was the first year.
Yeah.
And some of the reasons could be probably what we're dealing right now with immigration and ICE, and it scares a lot of people from going out.
Yeah.
Especially the market that we work with.
Yeah.
So that's been a challenge that the last 4 or 5 months. But listen. That's how it is. There's always going to be a challenge, right? And we have to just try to figure out how to get around it and be smart about how, be smarter every year how we produce shows, we spend on producing shows, like you said, in terms of like, what's your break even? These are my costs. This is my ticket price, booking the right artists that fit, what we're doing at the moment. So it's just about being smart about,
Yeah. It's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens as we continue to move forward. I do see the movement. I was just out in the city this past weekend. That was a rager, by the way. I haven't done one of those.
I don't want to hear about it.
Started out at dinner.
And let's leave it at that.
Started at dinner and then just, I don't know what, made some very bad decisions. But
our famous words to each other, like, let's just meet up for one drink and dinner and that's it. And that's it. Mauricio, that's it. Adrian, that's it. And unfortunately, that never happened.
One drink. I think that's the curse. I think that's what happens. That's why we don't hang out. Like, I made sure when I was like, hey, are you in the city? You're like, no. I said, all right, thank you. Like, don't call me.
Don't call me. Lose my number.
I'm going to be in the city. I don't need it. And then again, the shit hits the fan. So I definitely think that things are going to turn around. I think 2026 is going to be a great year for entertainment. I think that there's going to be a lot of great things happening. We'll see, right? We always are very hopeful for the future. We always want we always look at things in the positive. We don't look at it negative because that's not who we are. We always got to we want to promote positivity through our events and our promotions and all that good stuff.
And I think people always, you know what proved it was through COVID. Sorry to go back.
Yeah.
But through COVID, people tried to do those live broadcasting shows.
That's how Mauricio Mejia Live got started, by the way.
But a lot of those big shows, even with like huge artists, they didn't really work.
Yeah.
They didn't really make any money. They were trying to charge people like, you know, $2 to $5 to see a video of their artist performing. People want to have that live experience.
Crazy, bro, to think that.
Oh, some of these huge artists did it, and they would only have like 5,000 people instead of having 30, 40,000 people they're expecting to have, because you can go on YouTube and watch a video of the same artist. People want that loud sound, the sweat, the energy from other people that you cannot get watching a screen. People like that. You know, it's that energy that other people transfer to you when they're excited and they're like watching a show. So I think, thank God, I think our business has a long way to go, because you know, I think that's one of the main reasons. It's just,
I think as long as people as artists continue to put out good content,
good music,
good quality music. Because that's been interesting too. Like today, I shared a link with that group that they're a Colombian group that I asked you to take a look at.
Belé.
But, bro, I didn't understand a word they were saying. Like I'm like, what? Like,
Mauricio, I got bad news for you.
Yeah.
You're old.
Damn. I didn't understand. Oh, I mean, even
older. How about older,
bro? I'm the hip hop groups that are coming out, I'm like, what did they say? Like what? Like you can't. Like,
but you know what? I think every generation feels.
You can't even dance to that shit. You know.
I feel every generation feels that way about the music that's coming up for the younger generation.
I know.
I mean, people thought rock and roll was like dirty and horrible in the 50s and 60s when, you know, rock and roll came up, and then in the 80s, you know, the rock and the hair and the costumes, and then, you know, the older generation thought that was horrible. You know, every generation, trust me, reggaeton is the biggest moneymaker right now for the Latin industry. And a lot of these artists, it's tough for me to understand what they're saying. And Spanish is my first language. And I'm like, what did he just say? Like, you know. And
I got to read the subtitles. I'm like, what?
And I feel like every generation is also, it's like a faster, you know, pace of life. So even like their songs are like, you know, if they're rapping or if they're singing, it's just a lot more. Have you noticed that? You know, so for our generation in our 50s or 40s, it's tougher to understand what that younger generation is, you know, is listening to, but we got to keep up with the times. You know, if not, we're gonna lose the boat.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna be the blockbuster effect. You know, like Netflix came in and said, bye. You lose you lost your chance of. Yeah. So we have to, you know, always keep ears open, see what's new, you know, what's catching the young audience's ears.
Interesting you say that, because that's, I think, part of my reasoning of not wanting to go back to the scene, right? Because I know the amount of time, energy, and money that it takes. But I don't know if I want to invest my time, because man, I'm not young anymore. You know, that was like when you're young, you got that energy. You're thinking, I could do this forever. Now I'm like, I don't want to do this forever. I want to go to bed. Like I'm hugging my pillow at 9:30. I'm hugging my pillow at 9:30. I'm like, but I want to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I want to be waking up, not going to sleep at 5 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, I mean, it just, again, it times have changed, but. Going back, man, looking back at the things that we've done, I look at it and I say, you know, we lived a great life. We did a lot of great things. We left an impact on a lot of people that went to our events, or, you know, whether it was our clubs or the concerts. But we left a big mark, man, and a lot of great people that we worked with too. We got to see a lot of great things, man. I just
very fortunate, you know.
Yeah,
very fortunate.
We won't go into all the details, but you know,
no need.
There's no need. But there's some fun things that we've seen.
We've seen a lot. But let's not repeat that on camera or on a mic, please.
What's your most memorable show? And your entire career, what is that one that just, damn, that was a good one?
There's a few. One, and not because he's from Venezuela, but Oscar de Leon performed on 24th and Harrison for a free concert. And he went up there. There was probably about 100,000 people in the street. They didn't expect. I mean, this is probably in the 90s. It was part of the guys that organized Carnival back then.
Yeah.
He went up there and he sang for 3 hours, and this guy was improvising and just, I mean, it's just such an amazing artist to be able to.
Oh, his energy
To just captivate all those people and just to improvise with the rhythm and just, I mean, incredible. And the second, well, another show that I think was really incredible, it was Sade at the Shoreline.
I saw her there.
You saw her there.
Yes. It was
she's
the Shoreline at
the
Concord Pavilion.
She's a small, beautiful woman.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say she was small is because when she came out on stage, I swear I saw colors, like aura around her. And the Shoreline, I think, is 22,000 people. You couldn't hear a pin drop when she came out. She literally hypnotized every single person in there with her movements and her voice. I mean, she's amazing.
Yeah.
So that was another show. I was like,
dude, I saw that they're promoting. She's coming out to town in Hayward or at
I saw something. Yeah,
San Leandro, bro, some small venue, and I was like, what? So I put my name on the waiting list because I'm like, and then your other shows in New York. That's it. I'm like, Hayward and New York?
And she can sell out, I mean, wherever she goes.
I mean, Sade? I'm like, what the hell?
Make sure it's not a cover band.
Yeah, I saw, and then I saw Tribute, and I was like, is that a tribute band or is that
if it says Tribute and it's in Hayward?
I've done that trick before too.
Yeah, you put the big name.
I put a tribute to all.
You're like, Sade, am her drummer, performing live.
I did that one time. I did a return to Studio 47. I said a tribute to all, and I put all the names, Rob Bass.
Like they're going to be there.
I said a tribute.
In small letters, but it said
it. And I put all of the names, and I remember that line was, when people were like, "Oh, the band's not gonna be here," no, it's a tribute. They said we're playing all their music. I was like, 2,000 people outside, and I heard like, "What did you do?" I said, "It's a tribute party, man, Studio 47." But what do you think your biggest show produced? What was the one that or not the biggest, but the one that just stuck with you?
That I produced personally? No. I did a show with a guy called Salvador and Roberto, and they did the Concourse. And actually, I was running the backstage security and I helped with marketing. And it was La India, I think Elvis Crespo and Jerry Rivera. I think you came to that show.
Okay.
It was it was amazing because it was the Concourse Center, which was like a long building, big, long warehouse. And there must have been 10,000 people there.
Yep.
And that always stuck there. I mean, there was because of the size and the legends that were singing. And that's when all of their, besides Celia Cruz, these other bands, it was like when they were just in their main, the heydays.
India was dope in the Latin, but she was also in the house music scene too, with Masters at Work. I mean, her voice was just...
Kinky, they did a show at the New Parish, which was insane. And then I had another artist called Celso Pina who passed away, cumbia artist from Mexico. And we had also the New Parish, and the capacity there I think was like 600 people. There must have been 800 plus.
Yeah.
And it was just the energy, the ceilings were dripping and it was just loud and people were just like dancing and you couldn't move. And it's just one of those shows that you just feel that, like we talked earlier, that's what really makes me do what I do. It's just that feeling, that you did something right and people are enjoying what you put together. And the artist is also having a good time,
I think one of the ones that I like that really hits me because it's, it's one of the godfathers of salsa was Willie Colon. Willie Colon at the UC Theater was amazing.
Yeah.
That show, it was one of those that you just,
for the books.
That one, obviously Grupo Nicho, when they were first coming out, that was one of my favorites. And then the Oscar de Leon. I know that we did the Jerry Rivera show. We did the Luis Enrique show.
Yeah, those are great shows also.
Every time I hear that song, I'm like, No.
No.
Yo no sé mañana. I'm like, yeah, I don't remember mañana either. So,
No,
but
you know, being fortunate to to be able to work next to a lot of amazing artists like that.
Yeah.
I really feel blessed. Just to be able to experience and to be able to say, oh, I produced this and people had a great time. And that's I think. Obviously, it's a business. Let's not lie to each other. We live in a very expensive city.
yeah, expensive area.
Especially
Yeah.
also when you have kids, you got to pay bills.
Yeah.
So that's the other part. But the part that gives me the rush is that that energy and feeling you get from.
What do you see coming up then in the next year? Let's just say the next 3 years. What do you see yourself doing? I mean, again, you're 52 years old now, man. 55
Well,
in 3 years, it'll be 55.
I want to be more careful of the shows that I produce.
Yeah.
I like to schedule, if I can, 6 months to a year. I mean, to a year ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe do once so every 2 months a large concert. And there's a couple of festivals that we've talked about that I've been trying to produce for many years now. Same thing. I was going to produce one of them right through COVID, and then that just put everything on the back burner.
Yeah.
So
I think COVID really put
Oh,
a damper in a lot of things and a lot of people and a lot of things that were going to happen.
yeah, for sure.
Were going to happen.
For sure. So,
That's
So,
crazy.
we just got to keep pushing,
Yeah.
Like, I want to just be able to produce maybe 12 to 15 big shows and maybe do another, like, 70 smaller concerts. Maybe do some more tours. So instead of just doing one show, I'm doing 5 or 6. I've done a few tours, but I like to do more of those with artists I've worked with already.
Yeah.
And then do 1 or 2 festivals. And I'm not talking about Coachella or I'm talking about maybe 10,000 people, 10 to 20,000 people, something that's manageable, that I
Yeah,
think.
and that's the other thing. People don't know that, those big festivals, it takes a lot.
It takes
infrastructure.
years to plan,
Yeah, you got to definitely do that.
Yeah.
Aside from all of this, I mean, and now just kind of touching base with the audience, you've been an entrepreneur in that space, and what are some of the things that have kept your spirits up and motivated to keep going? Aside from the interaction with people, but personally, I mean, it's what's that drive, that inner drive?
I just, I've been doing it for so long, Mauricio. It's just, I just want to keep bringing the culture and new artists to the Bay. That's what keeps me going. And I mean, it's just, it's what I've done my entire life. I've been in the hospitality business.
You look like you're gonna cry right now, bro. You need a hug.
Yeah, can I get a hug?
You want a hug, bro?
No, I was promised a coffee like 3 hours ago. Anybody in the studio? Hello? Or at least a beer, or cold beer, or something.
We don't drink here. We don't drink.
That's the after. The after.
We don't drink here, bro. We have a.
That's why I'm about to cry. I just took a 3 hour. I took bus, train, and out of it. I want to say thank you to Refresh for the bottle of water. Thank you, Mauricio.
We're working on it. We're working on our upgrade.
My drive is just to really to keep producing shows with new artists, some of the artists I've worked with already, and just grow. Like I said, like to do some like a larger festival.
Yeah.
I've worked with promoters that have produced large festivals, but I'd like to be one of the partners in a larger festival.
Well, we're gonna do that. I think 26 is gonna be our year. I feel it now in my bones that it's happening. I think we've gone through enough already that it's time to build that momentum until the next fucking distraction comes, right? Or the next problem. But we gotta not think about it. We gotta just keep driving and going in that direction. So.
And I know we're working on a couple of things that obviously they haven't happened yet, so we can't really talk about it. But there's some other projects that are very exciting if we can make them happen.
Yeah.
Like I said, I moved here because of food. So if I can do something that involves food, entertainment, hospitality, all of those in one.
We're definitely working on something. I mean, that.
But I just want to, that would be something also that would definitely be, amazing.
Well, good. Good. Well, I gotta say, it's interesting how fast the time goes, and we can go on for hours talking about our careers and the things that we've done. I think that
It's been an hour already?
Yeah, bro. It's been time flies. We're
Once again, I'd like to say thank you for the bottle of water, Mauricio.
to our sponsors. Again, I'm excited about a lot of the things that are coming our way. I'm looking forward to finishing this year strong and starting 26 stronger, and all the things that we've been talking about. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I think that we're gonna have a great partnership, and it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens next. And I definitely see we'll have a venue. It doesn't have to be a big venue. It could be something just to have, say that we have
like an anchor.
Yeah, we want to have that because we also we want to have a headquarters for it. We want to be a Bay Area, whether it's San Francisco or Silicon Valley based company, and then be as we get older, we never know. We might have a technology that we know. I mean, we thought about it when we were doing Latin Life. Unfortunately.
Well, I think it's never too late to incorporate all those things together. And I know we're working on some exciting stuff. So thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, no, good.
It's only been about 25 years, Mauricio, and I appreciate it. Thanks again.
I'm like, Adrian, hey, I don't have anybody. Can you show up
for the next 10 years? How about 2038?
I have an opening. Can you make it? Anyhow, man. No,
thanks, buddy. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. And if people want to get a hold of you, you're on all the social medias.
And it's a Jaffe Events, JAFFE-events.com.
We don't even go into what Jaffe means here.
Well, actually, we can actually.
All right, really quick.
Jaffe's my mom's last name.
That's right. Okay.
So, I wanted to kind of
and by the way, just to touch on it, you're Latino Jewish, right?
I'm a Latino Jew and proud of it. Yes, 100%.
Latino Jew, you can actually say that, then, right? Is that politically? I'm Latino Jew too, bro.
Yeah, I know, but for other reasons.
Wow. Anyways, we're gonna wrap it up. Adrian, thank you again.
Thank you, Mauricio.
Thank you for all the great shows that you put on for all these years. Look forward to doing some great events and our partnership moving forward.
Same here.
And let's make it happen. All right. Adrian Goddard here, San Francisco #1 Latin promoter. Yes. Anyways.
It's sardine.
Mauricio Mejia live here inside of Studio B. Thank you again. Stay tuned. If you like, comment, and what are our taglines, man? It's been a while over here. Like, comment, subscribe. There you go. I know I got it in me. Anyways, it's Mauricio Mejia live, YouTube. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And let's go.
Like, comment, subscribe. Mauricio Mejia live on YouTube.